Hello, Lady Gang. Another time for secrets. You know what? Shame loves a secret. Have you heard that saying? Let's come in the confessional of the lady and let's divulge all your marriage and divorce secrets this week. Have you ever divorced via text message? Have you married for money? Are you a bridezilla? Wedding day disaster stories. Love those. How about you tell us the real reason you divorced your husband? Was it because he had permanent bad breath? I mean, we want to know, and we want to hear all your secrets. Please write into theladysecrets.com, theladysecrets.com. We cannot trace you. It's totally anonymous. Or you can call in, which is so fun, to our hotline, 1-844-SEXY-LADY, SXY Lady, 1-844-SEXY-LADY. Welcome to the Lady Gang. You're about to listen to our podcast, but there is so much more our community has to offer. Follow us at the Lady Gang, join our secret Facebook group, shop our clothing line, books, and find out when we're going to be in your city at theladygang.com. We're so excited you're here. Enjoy the show.
It's time for a Quickie.
Podcast One presents The Lady Gang, the Hollywood Girl Posse, with Lady Gang Quickie. Here's Kelty Knight, Becca Tobin, and Jack Vanek.
Let's make this quick.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Lady Gang. I am Becca here with Jack and Kelty. We have a very, very, very special Quickie episode for you guys. Kelty, what's on the docket?
Well, we're so excited because, you know, we have had this sort of long-term partnership with European Wax Center now. And which, by the way, I have a fresh everything. I'm going to talk about this in a minute. But our Lady Gang listeners right now can go to waxcenter.com. You can put in your zip code. You can find the nearest location. And your first wax is free. So head on down and get waxed. And we're just excited. And we have a very special episode and a special guest today that's going to help us figure out what's going on with our bodies and all of that good stuff. So Deidre Green is a licensed and certified esthetician from the Baltimore School of Massage and Aesthetics and was the owner and operator of the Skin Bar. She has 5 years experience as an esthetician and eyelash extension artist and authored the book titled 30 Days to Better Retail Sales. Now, this is the important part. Since April of 2018, Deidre has been an European Wax Center trainer and wax specialist in the Pennsylvania market. And shortly after joining the corporate team, she was promoted to field training manager. So when you go to get waxed, she's the person that taught you how to tell you to open up your vagina and have the wax happen. She's now able to give the best tools and resources to the amazing wax specialists around the globe and ensure the guest service associates deliver the best experience to customers. So we're so excited to have her, and she's going to talk all about things wax today.
Yay. Hello.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. That bio, I'm like, oh, that is me. That's so funny.
Isn't that so funny? So I'm going on a trip, and I recently went, and it was so funny because I was at the wax center and I said, what else can I wax? Like, I literally was like, now I'm in it. So I did toes. Did you know they'll do the top of your feet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To get a lot of toe asks. I feel like that's something.
Do.
I feel like it would be like a secret menu thing, like the Flying Dutchman on the In-N-Out menu.
Yes, it's definitely one of those things that it's like, hey, do you want to add that on? I mean, if there's hair, the wax specialist is probably going to ask you if you want it.
Ooh.
It was very exciting. But we went to our Facebook group and we said, listen, Deidre's coming on. Ask us all the questions that you feel too embarrassed to like ask your friends. And the number one thing is that like, people feel weird about their vaginas being out. And when you're in a wax, like pretty much everyone does it the same. Like your spread eagle, what do they call it? Like frog?
Butterfly.
Butterfly. Yeah.
And it's like, there's no shirt. I mean, there's I got that's the other thing. I got my nipples waxed for the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I get this one really long, I'm like telling this perfect stranger, I'm like, I get this one really long hair, but I saved it in a journal, but like, I'm going on this sexy trip and I want to have not hairy nipples anyway. But it's like, it's a very compromising position. So give us the pep talk of like why it's okay for us to go in and show our vagina to the wax specialist.
Okay. So I'm so glad that you brought this up and that this is the number one question, because we do sometimes get this question in the wax suite and people will say, is my vagina normal? And so that's kind of like asking, is my face normal? And that's what I tell people. I'm like, vaginas are like faces, like they're like the same, but they're different. And we don't remember them after we're done waxing them. Like I've probably waxed over 10,000 vaginas in my career. And I'm not gonna, like see you in the grocery store and be like, oh, I remember that vagina. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
we're very professional. We do this all the time. You know what I mean? So just come in, get waxed. We've seen everything. We're okay with it. We're trained. All the wax specialists that we have are licensed estheticians. We train them for 6 days before they even get a chance to touch you. They see about like 30 models before they come in. So they're used to all the nitty gritty. We prep them very well. So you do not have to be embarrassed of your body or anything like that at all.
But it's like, I prep for like 3 days to go to the gynecologist, and they have, they have like the paper sheet over it. So in a way, a wax does feel like even more, because
more exposed.
Yeah, you're more, I don't know, Jack, have you had that experience?
Well, yeah, you feel more exposed. And then I guess when you're going to the gyno, you think of it as a doctor's office, but like, especially at European Wax Center, it's like, everybody is like, a lot of people are your age and like you, and you're like, should we go get happy hour after this? So it's a little bit different, but I love that, where it's just like, you guys are so professional. Like, of course it's not going to be awkward.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's so funny that you say that, because I mean, a lot of wax specialists do wind up becoming friendly with their guests. I mean, how can you not? It's like, how can you not be my best friend after I wax your vagina? Like, you know, and I mean, I really feel like people come for the wax, but they also come for the wax specialist. Like, they're coming to talk to their girlfriend. They're coming to talk to their friend that's like never going to know any of their other friends and never going to tell any of their secrets. So, you know, they come for the wax, they come for a little bit of therapy, and, you know, it's great. It's great. So you should feel 100% comfortable with your wax specialist.
Do you know what I have noticed? Because I've been going and getting waxed for a long time, and I've been going to European Wax Center for a very long time. But when I would go other places, I would have to get very friendly with the waxer, because it would take like 5 times the amount of time to wax. So I like that this feels like, it's like speed friendship. It's really quick. And as much as I love every single wax specialist I've had, I'm happy and grateful that it doesn't last very long.
Yes. Yes, we want to get you in and out of there in like 15 minutes tops. That's our goal with all of our wax specialists, to get to the point where they're doing 15-minute Brazilians. And it's just because we're not rushing you. We're not trying to like kick you out of our suite. We just want to be efficient. And we know that you're in a little bit of an awkward position. We don't want you to be there for 45 minutes, you know, like, and taking these little tiny strips. And we have amazing wax. As you know, you mentioned it's our own proprietary blend. So we can get you in and out because the wax is so effective.
All right. So for people that have not had a Brazilian, because a bikini wax is very different, I need you to give me like the 5 positions. Like, what are we expecting?
Well, also,
no surprises here.
Also, explain what it is, because I had a friend go and she was like picking from the drop down menu, and she's like, "What do I ask for? What's the difference?" So if you could help us with that, too.
Yes. Sure. So everyone kind of does it differently, but at European Wax Center, we do a bikini line. So a bikini line is about 4 fingers out from your underwear, and then like maybe 2 inches off of the top, just a little bit, to make everything clean and neat and stay inside your underwear. You can keep your underwear on for that one. We also have a bikini full, which is kind of the mid-level, and you can take off as little or as much as you want off of the front. So it also includes that bikini line, and then you can bring it in a little bit more, and you can keep the front totally bare. It becomes a Brazilian when you add the butt strip. So the Brazilian is like everything off the front and the butt strip.
It's shocking how painless the butt strip is.
The butt is the least painful part.
The butt is like, are you done?
Yeah. I look forward to the butt strip.
Maybe we have like no nerve endings back there anymore. I don't know. Wait, I had a question. Are like landing strips back in style?
Yeah, like what are people wearing these days on their vaginas?
Yeah, what is trendy, and have we passed it?
So people are doing, a lot of people, I would say the most popular is everything off, like get everything done. Some people leave behind a landing strip. We can do a little triangle, and I like to call it a martini glass. Or like, you know, it's like a little arrow, like pointing right to the area that you want people to focus on. And then people sometimes do like a postage stamp, like a little square. So those are kind of the most popular ones that we have.
Now, I have a question, because I do like the full everything. When people get the triangle or the square, if it's long, do you also trim it?
So trimming, we leave up to the discretion of the wax specialist.
Okay.
It's just, we want to try to keep the room like as sanitary as possible. And we specialize in that, quick, efficient waxing. Right. Trimming, we just want to, you do
that at home after. You're like, okay, that's easy.
Yeah. It's an easy little patch, believe you.
Okay. So I'm coming in for my first Brazilian. Panties are off. Take me through what's going to happen.
Okay. So I'll have you hop up on the table and we'll tell you to get into butterfly position. We're going to do our amazing 4-step process. So first, we're going to cleanse your skin just to remove any lotion, soap residue, anything that you might have on your skin that might interfere with the wax. Then we're going to do a little bit of an oil, and that's going to help to create a protective barrier on your skin so that your wax is even more comfortable for you. Then we're going to wax you with our proprietary blend of wax of our Comfort Blend wax. And then we're going to do a little bit of our ingrown hair serum at the end. And then you should definitely take that with you so that you can keep using it after your service. So I know you want to know about the positions and whatnot. Yeah. So I'm definitely going to take you through the position. So the first position is butterfly. So just let it all hang out. People sometimes try to tense up, and I'm like, girl, we're already here. Just
the hardest part is over.
I'm like, we're already here. Just let me in. And then, you'll have, we'll flip you over. So you'll lay flat on your stomach for, the butt strip. So, people tend to, feel, they're awkward a little bit about that position, but there's nothing to be worried about. We want to get all the hair. So we want to make sure that you're in all the best positions so that we can get everything.
And is it okay that I have sweat through the paper on the table?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're not the first one.
You are not the first one, and you are not going to be the last one. It's definitely a thing. And that's why we keep some baby powder in the suites to kind of cool you down. It's just a natural kind of stress reaction of the body. Sometimes people sweat. Sometimes people get a little bit nervous. It could be hot outside, whatever. We're prepared for everything.
And are you offended if we're on our phones to sort of distract ourselves from what's happening?
Not at all.
That's such a good idea. Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah. I was I don't want to be that asshole, but then I'm making small talk. But I can't believe I'm saying this, although I've talked about my vagina and great. It's when I'm in butterfly, it's a butterfly. That shit is flying. You know what I mean? That's what makes it's such a compromising, that's why I wanted to have this conversation with you on the podcast, because I want every woman out there to go in and butterfly and feel confident, because when I butterfly, it's spilling out. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. And that's how you get the cleanest wax. Let it butterfly, because that's how you get the cleanest wax.
You got to move the lip out of the way and get the other and that's fine, right? You guys know how to handle all of that.
Yes.
I feel like this could be good immersion therapy for women who are insecure about their vaginas, because every time I walk out, I feel
better,
pretty empowered. I feel better, but I feel really fucking strong and really confident. I'm my vagina was totally out and everything was fine. And I actually feel pretty good about it.
I mean, that's our thing. Walk in, strut out. There's no way that you can feel the same way leaving a European wax center as you do when you come in.
No.
And the wax specialists know that. We know what world we're living in, and that this could be the only 15 minutes you have to yourself for the entire month. And we totally respect that. So if you want to scroll through Instagram on your phone, that's on you. If you want to tell me how shitty your boyfriend is, that's on you. Whatever. It's your time to shine.
It really is speed therapy in every sense of the word. I love it.
What do you wish that every I have one other question. Do you wax balls?
Yes.
I don't know why I didn't think about this.
I know. I thought about this because Jack's boyfriend, Jerry, has long hair, and he's been losing his hair in the shower. And you know how it get have you ever, do you find things in people? I don't want to get too gross.
Oh my God.
But you get the hair, shit gets stuck in the places. So it's that's gotta be weird. But anyway. Also, I didn't know if you could wax a ball or not, and I'm interested in that.
I don't know why I didn't think about any a man at all in this scenario whatsoever. But that
they're going to do the same.
A man has an extremely hairy butt crack, so if that was
everybody is different. And so I think we think that sometimes men are going to be hairier than women, but I've definitely waxed, women who are hairier than men who are not so hairy. Like it's a thing. Everybody's different. And so you just have to be like open-minded about every situation when you get into the wax suite. So
into that world.
But yes, we have about like 100, I want to say like 150 locations that do balls. And then we also we're branching out. So we're going to have a lot more locations, and hopefully the goal is all of our locations by October that are doing that service too. Yep.
So interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. Are women or men tougher on the table?
Yeah. Who's the toughest?
We all know it's women.
It depends on in what context you're talking about.
The toes hurt. I'm going to tell you. I'd rather get a Brazilian than a toe.
Really?
Yeah.
Toes hurt. And my waxing expert was like doing my toe, and then I usually shave it, but I'm going to a special event. So I thought, wax the toe, go for it. Go fancy. And she was tweezing, like, she was like such a professional.
Oh my God. Ow.
Like a couple little ones and tweezing. I was like, I'm like, you know what? You don't need to.
Like, I don't think I need it.
So, and then this is an interesting thing. So since we started this partnership, we've actually had a lot of women go to the European Wax Center and get their like first wax or, and they report back. They want to like tell the Lady Gang, like, I went and blah, blah. And we've had a couple that were like, you told me it wasn't going to really hurt. And it did. And so and listen, like, yes, you're waxing here, so it's going to hurt. We all have a different pain tolerance. Yeah. Are there things that we can do to make it less painful? Like, you shouldn't go around your period, I heard. Right. Should you trim before you go? Like, are there things, ice, like painkillers? Like, what should you do?
So what I tell people to do is it's better if you really like let your hair grow to the length of a grain of rice, because if you just recently shaved and you only have about 2 weeks of hair growth, like sometimes that can be a little bit more uncomfortable. Like I'm all about like bring me the bush, like that's going to get you your cleanest result, and it's going to be a lot of, more comfortable for you. Your first wax is the worst one. So it's all about being consistent. Like if you come every 4 weeks, like we tell you to come, every single time is going to be easier and easier and easier. Your hair is going to thin out. It's going to stop growing in some places. Like, so I just tell people like, get to your third wax. Like your third wax is your best wax. Like that's when you're going to start really seeing the benefits and the results and like, okay, this is what I came here for. Cause people don't just want to remove the hair, they want like that sexy skin underneath. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, the third wax is when you're really going to be like, I'm freaking hooked.
Wow. I love that. Yeah. All right. When we come back, butt acne. It's real. It was not kidding.
The Lady Gang.
All right, we're back with Deidre from European Wax Center, and we have some questions that girls wanted to know and about just esthetician wise, and some of this may be stuff that you do at European Wax Center, and some might just be your personal opinion. So we'll figure out what we're gonna add in. But someone said something about strawberry legs, which I guess is well, you could explain it.
Yes. So I guess the official term for strawberry legs is keratosis pilaris, if we want to be like fancy about it. And this could be caused by like many different things. So usually it's just like an overgrowth of skin cells. So your skin just is producing more skin cells. And so they're shedding a little bit more. So you just need to exfoliate a little bit more. And at European Wax Center, obviously we have tons of different ways for you to begin to exfoliate. But for this specific condition, I would recommend the ingrown hair wipes because they're really strong and they're going to break down that skin without it being scrubby. Some people have told me in the past they don't like the texture, like the way that a scrub feels. So if you're not a fan of a scrub, then we have, we call it a chemical exfoliation. Don't be thrown off by the word chemical. It's just an aesthetic term. But it just means that you're breaking down the skin without using a scrub.
And so when people get the strawberry, like that's like when sort of dirt and buildup is in, like it's a blackhead on your leg, essentially, right?
Yeah. So it looks like that's what it looks like, and it's because you have that excess buildup of skin. Everything is getting trapped underneath in those pores, so it creates those little dots in all your follicles. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that's so it's totally treatable.
Yeah. definitely.
Because a lot of people were asking about this.
And there is honestly like a lot of other things you can do, like put sunscreen on, you know what I mean? Like that's going to because sometimes it can be a result of like hyperpigmentation, like from trauma to the pores or what have you. So you put sunscreen on, that's going to help the sun not to continuously darken those areas as well. So it's really about just taking care of your skin. Like a lot of people skip steps, and we can tell when you skip your steps. So it's very important that you're following your at-home care routine.
It's hard to think about, like, I'm so good with all of my skincare for my face, and then I always forget about my body. I feel like that's the easiest thing, especially with putting sunscreen on my body. I'm like, I've used it all on my face.
Yeah, exactly. Like we always have to remind people, like, hey, your underarms are skin, your pubic mound is skin. Like you need to hydrate those areas as well. Like you need to use lotion there, and people are like, oh my God, I never do. And I'm like, well, have you noticed how different the skin looks in those areas? It's like, because you don't do anything.
It's like old and sad.
Well, exactly. And I think that's really important because I think that all the wax specialists have this understanding of skincare. So they're able to be like, oh, your skin's here, like treat this, and one of the things like I was talking to my wax specialist about was like the dark armpits. And then girls were asking about this in Facebook. So can you explain like why they get dark and then like what we're supposed to do?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of times the underarm area will get dark because you're shaving it, and shaving can be pretty traumatic to the skin. I mean, you're creating these tiny little micro cuts, and then bacteria gets in and they get irritated. Then it starts to grow back in. You might get ingrowns. I mean, you're sweating under there. It's a dark area. It's always kind of enclosed. So, when you're shaving, it can become discolored because it's reflecting that like trauma from the skin, from actually shaving and creating those little microcuts and the bacteria and the sweat and all of that. So when you begin to wax, you will notice that your underarm area is going to brighten. And then I'm so excited that we launched a deodorant finally this year. I feel like our guests have been asking for it forever. That will help to slow down the growth, and it's a natural deodorant as well. So it's super, super exciting. So now we have something for you to treat that area also.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean this with all seriousness, but butt acne was the third thing that people were asking about. And I think they feel, because if you're going to be like Butterfly and you're going to wax your butt strip, that you could also be the person to help us with the butt acne. And you probably see a lot of butt acne because it's dark in there. So what are your thoughts?
So I think that a lot of times people have to remember that when you're waxing, you need to treat your skin differently, and not all products are made to rinse clean from the skin. So some things will create like a film on your skin. Like if you're not using the right body wash, like it might be leaving too much behind. And then if you have a freshly waxed pore and it's leaving all that buildup from the product in there, then yes, you're going to see some, little bumps or whatever pop up for you. So I really try to get people to understand why using the products along with the wax is their long-term strategy. And it's a whole solution. Like you don't come and get wax and not use the products. Like it's not a thing. It's like going and spending $500 on your hair for color and then putting swab on it. Like, or, I don't know if I can say swab, but then putting like whatever.
And then jumping in the pool. Right.
Yeah,
right,
exactly. So, it's not something that you want to play with. You want to do the whole thing. It's a system that you want to do.
And then veins, people are very concerned about their veins.
I have a nice varicose vein in my leg right now.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. So varicose veins would be somewhat of a contraindication for waxing. So we don't necessarily would want to wax over a varicose vein.
Interesting.
Now, because, we don't want to create any more trauma to the area. So, and then, like I said, all of our estheticians are licensed estheticians. So they know they can look at the skin and tell you like what areas they can wax over. And if your skin is irritated or whatever, so if you have varicose veins, I would definitely speak with your doctor and see what you can do about those before you go into a wax suite.
So interesting. And then someone wrote cherry anglomas.
Ooh.
What?
Nope.
I'm not
Skip.
even sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Skip that out. I didn't know what it was either. And then just in general, a lot of our girls, and I'm not talking about like you get waxed and then product gets built up, like the cystic acne of our lives as women. And a lot of our girls in our Facebook group were like, can you just ask her, like, is there anything she's ever seen that worked? Because a lot of times our doctors will say, go on birth control or go on cytotricholine or whatever it is. What are your thoughts on that?
So we're talking cystic acne on the face or
I mean, people get it on their chest or like wherever,
So the causes for that, there are so many different causes for cystic acne. So unfortunately, I do have to say, like, if you really are having an issue, you need to go to a doctor and get diagnosed properly with what could potentially be causing those things. But I can tell you from a personal perspective that I used to get very bad cystic acne under my arms and in my bikini area. And in my case, it was from shaving, and I used to have to go to the doctor and actually like get them like drained. So that's how I got introduced to waxing, and waxing literally changed my life. Because once I started doing that and actually caring for my skin, I haven't had that issue for the past 9 years. So, it could be that you are having like that buildup underneath your skin, and the shaving, it just doesn't agree with your skin at all. And so, for me, the ingrown hair wipes are my go-to product. Like we have our serum. I love our serum. Our ingrown hair wipes is like a step above. They're just a little bit stronger. So if you're experiencing that, I would try to use our ingrown hair wipes and see what that does for you.
I love that.
But not on the face. Those are only body products.
Okay. Jack, Becca, do you have any burning questions you think our listener might need for her vagina when she goes to wax?
No, I feel like we covered.
I know what we covered.
Much.
I thought about your friend that was like, it was so painful. It was her first wax, right?
Yeah. It's a first wax is always.
It's a little hard.
Got to get over the hump. Got to get over the hump.
Yeah, that's good advice, is just to get to your third, because it's true. It's like the more you go, it's just, you build up like the tolerance for it, but it's also just less painful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's just generally less painful. It's better for you.
All right. Now, as a final moment of this quickie, Deidre, I want you to just give us all a pep talk for coming in. Like, I want everyone that listens to LadyGang to go head over to waxcenter.com, book your reservation. Your first wax is free. If you've never gone and you're scared about being that naked in front of the Deidres of the world, Deidre's going to give you her like power punch mom pep talk about going in right now. And 3, 2, 1.
All right. So here it is. Come in and get waxed. I want you to know that EWC, we wax all bodies. So if you have a body, you are eligible to come in and get waxed.
I love this.
Come in, get waxed. We are not judging you. We're here to make you feel good. Estheticians are definitely feelers. We got into this business because we wanted to make people feel good about themselves. So we are not, we're not judging. We're not looking for you to be perfect. You don't have to apologize for who you are, for your body, for being too heavy, too thin, too this, too that. We want to wax you. We're ready. Do you have hair? Do you have a body? Come in, come see us.
Boom.
You did make me think of one question.
Sure.
If a girl has an irregular period and she tries desperately to make an appointment when she's not on her period, but it does fall on her period, what do you suggest?
All you need is a tampon. And
just a tampon.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Tampon. Great.
And we can wax you.
Menstrual cup.
I've definitely had people like start their cycle on the table. It happens.
No.
It happens. It's like, okay, whatever. We're professional. It's like, hey, can you go to the restroom and, put in a tampon, your cycle just started, and then we'll finish your service. Like,
no big deal. I love that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, this is like why I'm like, everyone it's so chill. You do not have to feel weird. And it's weird that we grew up, I think, well, I'm a little bit older than the girls, but like there was just like, I just grew up and we didn't talk about the vaginas. Like you just like stole a razor from your dad and like went to town on your eyebrows and your private parts. Like no one ever just said like, it's okay. Like this is a thing too. And so
I mean, I agree. I'm from the same era, I think. And my mom I stole a razor from my mom and she got mad at me because I shaved my whole leg. And she was like, only strippers shave above the knee. I mean, she had a whole like thing.
Oh my God.
So that was like
it's
traumatic. And now this is what I do for a living. So
oh my God, full
undoing
circle. I
yes,
love that for you.
Yeah,
We love
undoing the
this.
childhood trauma. So
And honestly, anytime I get a chance to talk about my vagina and how it's not normal looking, I feel less alone. So,
Yes.
Lady Gang, we always strive to be our best, and so does European Wax Center. And they have all these products that we've talked about on our Instagram. They're amazing. Head on over, get your first wax free. And we weren't here for a long time, but we are here for a
lifetime.
Thanks for listening. The Lady Gang is produced by Alex Ingber, Steve Delameter, and Jared Monaco. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And if you love it, share it with your friends on social media. Like, oh my God, I just listened to Lady Gang. This episode's so great. Swipe up to listen. And if you really want to, which we know you do, please follow us on social at Kelty, at Becca, at Jack Vanek, and at The Lady Gang. Sign up for our newsletter at theladygang.com and join our secret Facebook group. It's super fun. See you next Tuesday.